Hello, hello, my lovely, beautiful Cancers. Welcome back to the channel today. We are going to be doing the weekly reading for April 8th through the 21st. I'm going to pull your cards for the week here, these 2 weeks actually. We'll pull your cards for the next 2 weeks, and we'll also pull some oracle cards as well, because I like them. I think they are neat. Oh, ooh, Cancer. Okay. Got these guys here. Let me pull your oracle cards real quick. I hope y'all have been having a lovely couple weeks. Things have been pretty intense for a lot of people lately. There's been some very heavy energy going on these last few weeks. We have just entered not only the start of some eclipse cycles here for these 2 weeks, but we have also started Mercury retrograde, and there's just a lot of craziness that can feel like it's happening right now. We can feel off of our routine. Oftentimes we can also feel very exhausted. So Cancer, if you've been very exhausted lately because of all this heavy moon energy going on for you, you are not alone. Let's start with your oracle cards for this reading here. We have the Scarab Beetle Spirit, which says magic works through you. So yes, Cancer, never forget that magic works through you. And what that means is that you are a conduit for magic. It's not something that comes directly from you. In a way, it kind of does, but it comes through you. Allow it to pass through you. It works through you, and your influence on it is actually very important for the whole process. Everybody's magic looks a little bit different because we are all different people, different beings. Your next card here is the Starfish Spirit, which says open to infinite possibility. I have not actually seen this card show up in any of my readings before, so Cancer, you got a new card here. Open to infinite possibility. Magic works through you. And then you have the Otter Spirit for your last card, which says you are never alone. So Cancer, you are never alone. Look at this really beautiful heart that this otter is in. It's very sweet. Magic works through you, open to infinite possibility, and you are never alone. All right. Let's look at your tarot cards here while we're here, since that's kind of why you guys are here in the first place, right? Just getting your overall energy here real quick. I see the Strength card, the High Priestess, the Ace of Wands, the Tower, the Queen of Pentacles. So there is some very big energy happening for you right now. A lot of this feels very internal. Cancer, I feel like you are on a path to trying to find yourself or come to terms with something about yourself that maybe, it feels almost like it's new information to you. Almost as if, you know, if you are in this path of finding yourself, you're opening yourself up to new information, open to infinite possibility of who you are, what you are capable of, what you are meant to do and accomplish in this lifetime. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll pull this card here. Now, for April 8th, this very first card here, Monday, April 8th, we have a new moon in the sign of Aries. And this is a very special new moon because it coincides with a solar eclipse happening. And the thing about solar eclipses is that when you think about it, right, it's the sun being blocked out temporarily by the moon. Things are being... It's almost as if we're seeing things from a different perspective because we're seeing things in a way that we don't normally see them. Normally we see, you know, full moons and new moons. Those are very, very common for us, but it's not often that we see the sun completely blocked out by something else. It is a very good time to connect with your intention and to set an intention for the next upcoming 6 months. Eclipse cycles happen on like a 6-month timeline, right? So the last 2 weeks, things have been being brought into the forefront of our awareness, to the forefront of our mind, things that maybe we want to accomplish in these next 6 months, or things that we want to address about ourselves, our life, our situations. that we want to, deal with or take care of in these upcoming 6 months. So, this is a very good time to end cycles, begin new cycles, and to really set the intention on Monday for the next upcoming 6 months. Now, in your case, Cancer, what I'm seeing here is you have the 10 of Swords in reverse. Now, the 10 of Swords in reverse, this card is about letting go. The 10 of Swords in general is a card of death. Obviously, you see all these swords in this person's back. It indicates a very painful ending, or what can be a painful ending. But this card being in the reverse is saying that it's time to move on from some sort of painful ending that has happened for you, Cancer. You actually have the Death card 2 days after this card. So there is definitely a lot of this ending energy happening for you. As we get further into the reading, we can probably figure out what this ending is. But I feel like a lot of this ending, especially for you, Cancer, is about the ways that we think and feel about ourselves, the ways that we talk to ourselves within our mind, the ways that we approach ourselves. A very, very big theme in these next upcoming 6 months is going to be about self-love, the way that we care for ourselves and honor ourselves. So the 10 of Swords in reverse, needing to let something go, needing to move onward from some sort of painful ending. This ending also could have been something that happened pretty abruptly for you. This could have been something that, as we said, very recently. It happened very fast and out of nowhere. It can even leave you feeling a little bit off kilter because you're not really sure what to do after this point. And that's kind of confirmed more with your next card here, which is the Knight of Wands in reverse. Now, this specifically has to deal with your confidence and your ability to manifest. The Knight of Wands in the upright is normally a card that I would say a person is very almost cocky or very over the top about how they feel, how they interact with things. They're very they're so confident that they're almost annoying, if you've ever met a person like that. And, there's no shame in having confidence about yourself, right? But this is, in the upright, that's normally a card of a person that I would say is a little bit, too cocky, almost doesn't know their limitations, but they still feel as though they are invincible and on top of the world. Now, with this card being in the reverse, it's saying that your confidence is shaken. You're actually on the opposite side of this, where your confidence is so shaken, you have no faith in your ability to do things. You have no faith in your ability to manifest, specifically because that's a Wands card. It's about your manifestation. It's about your passion and your inspiration to get something done, to see something through. However, I do see that being resolved further on towards the end over here because you have the Ace of Wands as your second to last card in this reading here. So, don't be discouraged, but I feel like what's being brought to the forefront of your mind is your self-confidence, specifically, Cancer. Your next card here is the Death card in reverse, and we kind of talked about that a little bit already, about how the Death card is about endings. This is also about stepping into a new life, a new world or reality. In the major arcana, this is the card that comes after the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is a person who finds themselves in between two worlds. They straddle the world between life and death. And death is, what is death but a new beginning? We end reality in one bit over here and we move on into the next life, so to speak. And so death is one of these things that, you can't go back into the past. You can't go back and go back to this old life that you were living, Cancer. You can't move into the realm of the living once you have entered the realm of the dead, right? And so death is like a new life. It's really thinking about life from a different perspective, a different portion. It's when we think about death and birth, it's very similar. Things are brought into being, people and things are brought into death as well. So, Death card in reverse, this could also mean that you are kind of resisting this new life. So, you're being called to live things very differently than how you have before. And in fact, you're being called into a completely new life for yourself, one that you're not going to be able to come back from. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be a good thing. It doesn't have to be bad, but it can be very, with that card being in the reverse, it could mean that you are feeling very resistant to moving into this new life. Following the Death card in reverse, you have the High Priestess. So Cancer, the High Priestess, this is about intuition. This is that deep knowing. So even though this death or this ending of this cycle that's happening for you, Cancer, a part of you knows that this is for your highest good. The High Priestess is that intuition, and so Cancer, now is really a good time to be listening to your intuition, listening to that deep knowing of what it is that you're supposed to do next, where you are supposed to go next. And I just feel like there's so much happening for you. You're struggling with handling the emotions of moving on to this new world, this new reality for yourself. This ending can be a lot of different things. I don't feel as though it's leaning towards any one specific area of your life. It could actually very well be an all-encompassing death of self, right? What I mean by that is I don't mean that I'm not saying you're going to die, Cancer. I'm not saying anything like that. But just that this ending is so transformative for you and so new. Like everything you're going to have to do is going to be something completely different from who you were before. It's not just about finding a new job. It's not just about ending a relationship. Like this is an ending, a transformation process that finds you so completely brand new, brought into a new life. So the High Priestess, Cancer, lean into your trust for yourself. Lean into your ability to follow your intuition, because you know that intuition is that deep knowing of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And open to infinite possibility with that starfish spirit. There is infinite possibility about who you can become after this, right? It's not just about ending one piece, ending this one piece of yourself, ending this reality and moving into a new reality for yourself leaves you with endless possibilities. And the High Priestess is your guiding force through this. Following the High Priestess card, you have the Three of Cups. So leaning on your community, leaning on friendships and relationships at this time is going to be very important for you. You know, that otter spirit we had, you are never alone. And you can see that both these cards actually have hearts on them. Look at that. You have a little heart with the Three of Cups and then a heart formed by that otter spirit there. So, Cancer, your heart, your friendships, your community, and your relationships are going to be very, very important for you through this whole transformation process. Love is going to be your guiding force. It's going to be your North Star through this. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself, making time to have some time with some friends or family. Do something that fills up your emotional, your heart cup, if you will. Something that's going to bring you happiness, bring you joy and fulfillment and connection. Most importantly, connection. Do not isolate yourself during this, Cancer. When we go through these new transformations of self, it can be really easy to end up in this place of self-isolation because we're afraid of maybe the judgment of others. We're afraid that now that we're a new person, you know, how am I going to show myself to these important people within my life? Will they understand me? Will they get me? Or will they, you know, not want to be around me anymore because I'm such a different entity to them? You know, are we still going to be able to be friends, family, things like that? Because now I'm completely transformed. You know, the old me is gone. Will they like the new me? And Cancer, I feel like they will, honestly. You know, it's not just about who you were, it's about who you are still, because that Three of Cups, getting with your community, that's going to be what helps you have the confidence to keep moving forward with this transformation. Following the Three of Cups, Cancer, you have the Strength card. Now, this is another major arcana card. This is another very important aspect of the self, Cancer. This card shows me that you are a very strong person and that this transformation is going to require a lot of your inner strength. And you do have the inner strength to go through this, Cancer. You do have the inner strength to push through and to go on this new journey to find your new self, honestly. Because we don't just wake up and find ourselves in a completely different place. We wake up and we find ourselves, in the essence of the Fool, where we have endless, infinite possibility about who we can be. And so we have to go on this journey to find who we are, in a way. We have to find and experiment and figure out these little pieces. And the Strength card is really that inner strength about this journey, making sure that we have, not even making sure that we have it, because we do have it, right? With that Strength card showing up for you, Cancer, you do have a very deep inner strength. And as I said, it's going to require a lot of your inner strength moving forward. Which, you do have the strength to get through this, but ultimately it is going to be something that is very challenging. Your last card for week 1 is the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is an interesting card to show up here. This is about hidden things coming to light. It's also related to the Five of Swords, which you do have in your reading here further on for week 2. The Five of Swords is conflict, and the Seven of Swords is the truth of the conflict being brought into the light. This is also about, sometimes it's about retribution from the Five of Swords. If you were wronged by the Five of Swords conflict, the Seven of Swords is going to rebalance this. It's going to bring the truth into the light about the way that things went, the way that things are. Kind of shown a little bit more with that moon at the very top of this card here. But when you see this card, you see this person standing there with a sword hidden behind their back. The truth always has a way of being brought to the light. Whatever happens, there is always a change that occurs. And the Seven of Swords is this change. The Seven of Swords is things changing, not necessarily towards good or towards bad, or I don't want to put value statements on it, but it's a change of power. The Five of Swords is a conflict that is brought about by sometimes unsavory means, right? And the Seven of Swords is, like we said, a changing of power when you think about it. The person who initiated the Five of Swords can often find themselves on the opposite side. So if they were the problem, they find themselves in this place of, receiving justice or retribution, things like that. Cancer, this card is interesting because I don't feel as though this is I don't feel as though you've been the one lying. I don't feel as though you've been the one doing this unsavory stuff, Cancer. I feel like this is actually, this could very well possibly be things other people have been dealing with that are being brought to the light for you, about you, right? It's not necessarily that you are the one instigating this conflict, but that you are the one that finds yourself the subject of it. So you may come to find that there have been people who have not been honest or truthful with you. You may come to find that there have been people who, maybe have been saying that they are part of your group, part of your friendship, only to find out that they really did not move with your best interests in mind, that maybe they were saying things behind your back that were not as truthful, or that, they were really engaging in gossip or unsavory things. So, Cancer, it can leave you feeling as though you have been hurt or betrayed in some way. I would say that you do still have good people on your side. You have that, as we said, the Otter Spirit, you are never alone, and you have the Three of Cups, so there is community around you. But it tends to happen when we find that we have been betrayed in some way, that, we start to mistrust everybody else around us. And I feel like those cards are showing up to remind you, Cancer, that just because you have an individual who maybe has hurt you or engaged in this behavior in some way. It does not mean that you are alone. It does not mean that everybody else is out to hurt you or harm you. It means that that particular individual is going to have to, come to terms with their actions. But as I said, I don't feel as though it's you, Cancer. I don't feel like this is you engaging in this unsavory behavior. I feel like you just find out that someone else has been engaging in this, and it can feel very hurtful. But I feel like this is part of this purging process. As we go through this transformation of death, this process of moving from one world to the other, there are going to be some people who cannot come with us. As I said, getting with community, getting with the people that you love and care about. I feel as though you do have this fear about people not accepting the new you or accepting this new version of you. And, there may very well be some people, Cancer, with that Seven of Swords who do not. But I feel as though, you still have that Three of Cups. You still have the otter spirit of never being alone. So even though you may find that this has happened, this distrust has been brought up, I would say that you do still have people in your corner. Let's go ahead and move onward to week 2. Starting off week 2 here, Cancer, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Now, I know that pentacles are associated with earth sign energy. They're earth element pentacles. But I almost always feel as though the Queen of Pentacles does carry a lot of Cancerian energy for you. The Queen of Pentacles is someone who is able to take what they have and they're able to transform it into something better. They have their opportunities, they have their resources, they have what is within their grasp. So, Cancer, you have a beautiful power here. You have this seed from the Pentacles that you are able to grow into something better. I feel like this could also very well be how you are wanting to, who you are wanting to move into as. What I mean by that is who you are wanting to portray for yourself. So that Queen of Pentacles, I feel like this is who you want to be, this new you that you want to step into the role of. I think maybe it's because the Queen of Pentacles tends to have that Queen of Pentacles has a very similar mothering energy. And Cancer, I'm sure you're more than aware that you are the mother of the zodiac. So I feel like maybe that's probably why I see this as related to you here in the cards, Cancer. But I feel like it's more just about who you want to be. You want to be this grounded person who is able to work magic through themselves, right? The Queen of Pentacles does have this magic about her. It is a little bit about fertility, almost very similar to the Empress card, of being able to take something and grow it and expand it into something that gives you a profitable return. And I don't mean like just a money return profitable. I mean like being able to take, the hurt and the anger and the betrayal, possibly, of the other people around you and turn it into this beautiful opportunity to really figure out like who is your tribe, who is your group of people that are going to stand by you. The Queen of Pentacles brings you to the Two of Wands, which is about choices. It's about finding yourself at a crossroads. So, Cancer, there is, as we said, there is possibly someone or something hidden here that is being brought into the light. And it brings you this opportunity to make a decision. Who do you want to be? Are you going to move in the energy of the old you that you are trying to move away from with that Death card? Are you going to move in the new energy of who you want to be with the Queen of Pentacles? Are you going to be someone that is nurturing and caring and able to take these opportunities and turn it into abundance? Or are you going to take the other path, the other road? You find yourself at a crossroads. Your next card is the Seven of Wands in reverse. now we had 2 sevens, right? You had the 7 of Swords and then the 7 of Wands in reverse. What I'm feeling from this is that Wands are our path and our direction. With this card being in the reverse, it's normally that you don't want to or are questioning why you believe something. You're questioning your beliefs, questioning your convictions. Why do I do this? Why do I fight to maintain this piece of myself when I find that it is no longer working for me? I feel as though this is part of that decision of the 2 of Wands. When you move away from old energy, you have to reevaluate your beliefs. You have to reevaluate the hills that you will die on. You have to rethink for yourself, why do I continue to fight about this? Why do I continue to fight over this thing that no longer aligns with my purpose and who I want to be? Why do I continue to engage in this lower vibration energy when I want to move into a new version of myself? So, Cancer, with that 7 of Wands in reverse, I would say don't engage in this upcoming 5 of Swords conflict, because your very next card is the 5 of Swords, which does signal conflict. Now, when we find ourselves upgrading, to a new version or stepping into a new reality for ourselves, we can find a testing period of this where, we get this epiphany or this moment where we realize something about the way that we've been acting or the things that we've been doing, the road that we've been on. And once we become aware of these things, once we become aware of this change that has happened, we find ourselves in this almost testing period because this energy is so new. And it's almost as if the world kind of gives us this opportunity to flex our new skills that we're learning. For example, if you're learning patience, right, you may find that you have this, idea, or you start to feel very, very patient. You start to feel like you're finally getting a grasp on being patient and not, getting angry at morning traffic and things like that. And then all of a sudden a testing moment comes up where you are challenged with being patient. You are challenged with this muscle, this strength that you have been trying to build for this. And this 5 of Swords, this conflict that is happening, feels like that testing period to me. It feels like, you've been reevaluating your beliefs. You've been reevaluating this relationship or this friendship, whatever the case may be, with this person. And the conflict comes to a head. It comes to a point where you have an opportunity to either flex your new skills or move in your past energy. Move in the way that you have always done, Cancer. Further shown by that, 2 of Wands. There's paths available to you, choices available, and whether or not you choose is up to you. Whether or not you choose to move in either direction is entirely up to you, Cancer. It does feel, looking at these cards, like you choose to move in this upgraded energy, right? Your next card here, following the 5 of Swords, is the 4 of Cups in reverse. Now, the 4 of Cups in reverse, this is about keeping your eye on the prize in a way. Sometimes it's keeping your eye on the prize, but also sometimes it can be stubbornness. Wanting to have one object, one piece so bad that you choose to ignore the other opportunities in front of you, those other cups being your opportunities. With your other cards here, Cancer, moving in higher vibration, moving in, I feel like you're really trying to be the bigger person here, and this 4 of Cups is kind of saying that, like, yes, you're being the bigger person, but it may not feel as fulfilling as you thought it would be. Or you may not be receiving the intended or expected result there with that 4 of Cups in reverse. Actually, you had I just noticed you had the 3 of Cups in the upright and then the 4 of Cups in the reverse on the following. So we have this interesting energy of like this flip happening here. It's almost like, it's literally like looking through a glass, looking through the mirror. Things are being flipped on its head. You see this person in meditation. So some of you, Cancer, could very well be needing to take some time to meditate to find or reveal this answer that you are looking for. But I more feel as though this is that moment of you kind of realizing that, like, the high road is not always the easiest one. It's not always the most fulfilling, in the sense that, like, we don't get a prize. We don't get a prize for being the bigger person. We don't get, you know, a pat on the back. We just get what we get. We get to deal with and process and deal with things on our own, in our own peace. And it's not always pretty. It's not always fun. It's not always like this big celebration that we're being so much more mature and so much more, I just feel like there's just, you know, this sense of, like, things not being as you thought they would be. It feels really good to be the bigger person, but it's also sometimes not really good, if that makes sense. It's not as good as you thought it would be. Following the Four of Cups, you have the Ace of Wands. Now, we kind of talked about this. I alluded to this a little bit earlier with the Knight of Wands, I believe. Now, the Ace of Wands, this is a new spark. So even though I feel like this conflict, even though you flexing your new skills about how to handle this, I feel like you really have upgraded in your maturity. You've really upgraded your vibe here, Cancer. And I feel like even though it didn't turn out the way that you expected it to, this Ace of Wands feels to me like that spark of inspiration that keeps you, not that keeps you, but that encourages you to keep continuing down this path. And it actually almost feels as though you finally have this missing piece. You finally have this inspiration or this drive to practice your maturity. It's almost as if this conflict, practicing it, has brought to light, like, yes, that I am on the right path. I do have the ability to become this upgraded version of myself that I want to see. And the Ace of Wands is just, it feels like a renewing of your energy. It feels like it's a renewing of your drive and your willpower to actually do this, to actually see yourself in this way. And that Ace of Wands is followed by, for your final card of the weeks here, the Tower. Of all the cards you could have to end your week with here, Cancer, you have the Tower. Now, this card gets such a bad rap in the tarot because people think it is some... it has this, like, negative association with it, kind of similar to the Death card, about being, you know, horrible endings and big transformative, like, the Tower is a big challenge that's gonna, you know, completely shake things up and be terrible. And, like, I would say it's more about how you approach this in your reading here. As I said, this card gets such a bad rap. People think it means terrible things, or that it's going to, you know, completely ruin your life, and that's not the case. What the Tower is it's the breaking down of things. I'm sorry if you can hear my children. They're on spring break right now, and they are being loud. They are children, so I apologize if you can hear them, but anyway, the Tower is the breaking down of the old in order to build anew. If you have built a house, right? Let's say you've built a house and there is something wrong structurally that is very dangerous. Or maybe you have built a house and there's a bunch of mold and unhealthy and nasty, icky stuff in it. Well, you have to tear everything down in order to build something that is safe. You have to take down what has been built, even if you put a bunch of work into it, even if you put a bunch of time and energy and resources into building this thing. It has to come down so that you can build anew, right? And so the Tower is, yes, it can be very uncomfortable because we, as humans, you know, we crave simplicity. We crave consistency. We crave, you know, things staying the same. And so change, things that challenge us, can feel very uncomfortable, very unfamiliar. The Tower, Cancer, is the breaking down of the old ways. It's the actual death that happens in order to bring about this new change. So I'm not saying that terrible things are going to happen to you, Cancer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that this card is giving you an opportunity, like going through this conflict with this person, going through this moment of discomfort and conflict, really. Going through this and really dealing with all of this uncomfortable stuff really affirms your decision to build yourself anew, Cancer. And the Tower is the moment where everything breaks down. I literally feel like, it feels like the Ace of Wands is like a stick of dynamite. The stick of dynamite that causes the Tower to crumble. I literally feel like you are breaking things down, Cancer. Breaking down the entire old aspects of who you were or who you expected you should be in order to build anew. Build yourself anew. And it feels like this inspiration comes from this conflict. All right, we're going to pull one last card for you. I want to pull one card so that we can leave you with a positive message about the upcoming next 2 weeks. This deck is called The Universe Has Your Back, and I just really like it because all of these cards are messages and affirmations for you about I feel like it's from the universe towards you, to give you inspiration, to give you hope, I guess, to give you the connection, the idea that you are not alone. You are never alone, Cancer. The universe is with you always. So you actually got 3 cards here. I'm going to read all 3 of them for you. The first one says, when I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. So Cancer, staying in alignment with the love of the universe, staying in alignment with the true self, who you want to be. Your peace from this conflict, your peace caused by this person who has not been truthful with you or has been doing dirty things behind your back, your peace cannot be disrupted, because if you are connected with yourself and your love and the love of the universe, nothing can sway you, nothing can shake you. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. So staying connected to who you are, the love of who you are, your joyful presence, not just any presence, not your, indifferent presence, Cancer, not your, iffy presence, not your bratty presence, your joyful presence. So Cancer, you do have a very, very beautiful, joyful energy about you. And staying connected with your joy, staying connected with who you are, attracts support from the universe. The support of friends, true community, and people around you who will support you, who do believe in you and believe in this vision that you have for yourself about who you want to be, who you are becoming. And your last card says, obstacles are detours in the right direction. So no matter what, even if things feel like they're not going your way, even if things are being brought up and you feel like things are not happening the way you want them to, obstacles are detours in the right direction. Trust that you are being divinely led to where you need to be. Trust that you are being divinely guided at this time, divinely protected. That no matter what, even if something feels like it is happening to you for the worst, even if it's this Tower moment where things feel crazy and chaotic and like you are falling through Wonderland with nothing to grab onto, obstacles are detours in the right direction, and you are being brought to exactly where and who you need to be at this time. So Cancer, that is where I'm going to leave your reading for this. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope that I was able to help guide you in some way, provide you some, value or guidance with this reading. I look forward to seeing you all again next week.